Good morning. Welcome to church. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Thank you so much for being with me. You can get involved by going to the YouTube chat line. And so whatever your questions or comments are, let us know, and I'll try to get to them today. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hi, y'all. Happy Independence Day. Isn't that something? And so Independence Day is the day that America was born, or the day that we became free.
The day we became free.
And how many years has this been?
240 years.
Oh, come with the mic there for me. The day that we became free
Yes.
from the British?
Yes.
Oh, and that was 1776?
Yes.
I see it on your hat.
Yes.
Oh, that's great, man.
I had to make my own custom hat because if I came with a Trump hat, I would get beat up.
You would? So you would rather have Trump name up there?
I would, but I don't want to be messed up.
Isn't that amazing you get beat up?
Yes.
That's crazy, huh? But you could wear an Obama hat or a Hillary hat and nothing happens.
No.
That's mind-blowing. Is this your first time here?
Yes, this is my first time.
What's your name?
Chris.
And how did you hear about us?
YouTube.
Oh, good. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
You live in the LA area?
I live about 21 miles in a small town called La Puente.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What, you live out there too?
Not that area.
Oh, he lives out in that area. Did you know they have black people out there?
I'm pretty sure they did, but I didn't speculate.
Small amount.
A small amount. Yeah. Have you ever seen him out there?
No.
Have you seen any black people out there?
Yes.
You probably saw him, but since we all look alike, you didn't know. You didn't know it was him. Well, welcome, man.
Thank you.
I'm glad to see you.
Me too.
So, are you raising your hand already, James? Somebody online have a question?
Yep.
Wow. Okay, and then I have a really, really good question I want to get to. It's so good, I can hardly stand it. All right? Yes. Yes, James.
G, the mattress guy, asks, how do I improve in life without going into my head about it? For example, waking up earlier, getting more work done, and being more organized.
Don't think about it, just get up and do it. That's all. And you'll naturally grow in it, G. Just get up and do it. If you go into your imagination, don't worry about it, and it'll change automatically. Don't try to will it to change. It'll change by itself. But you just have to get up and do. All right? And G is a Mexican, right? Don't be lazy.
He's Brazilian.
G's not Mexican, is he?
Brazilian.
Oh, he just
Close.
looked like a Mexican.
Yeah.
Okay. Brazilian. Don't be lazy, G. Don't worry about it. It'll work itself out. It really will. Just get up and do. All right? Any other questions? Anybody have anything before I get rolling? Okay. Who here has common sense? Anybody in this room has common sense? Only one person? 2, 3, 4. You gotta get 5, 6. In the back, right there next to you. You have common sense?
I think so.
You're not sure?
Yeah, I think I have it.
You're not sure?
I'm sure I have it.
And do you use it?
I try to.
But you don't at times?
Probably not.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
So you're not sure if you have it, and you're not sure if you use it. And so how do you know? So I never heard anybody say, I'm not sure if I have common sense. But that's a good answer. I like the answer. It's an honest answer. Is this your first time here?
Yes.
Oh, welcome. Where did you come from?
L.A., and this is my wife and son.
Oh, your wife have to tell you where you came from?
Yeah.
I said, where did you come from? He looked at his wife. She like, L.A. You don't know you from L.A.?
Yeah.
You do know?
Born and raised Los Angeles.
Really? So what's wrong with him? You don't know you from L.A.?
Yeah.
Why did you have to look at your wife? And she had to
No
tell
reason.
you? I'm sorry?
I don't know.
Well, that's all right. All men are weak. We'll come back to that. You have common sense, wife?
Yes.
And do you use it?
Yes.
And you do use it?
Of course.
Okay. Well, why did you answer LA for him?
Well, he's born in Los LA, and then we moved to Palm Spring area for 5 years. But now we do have a place here, so we kind of like, you know. But we lived 30 years in Los Angeles.
Is he aware of that? Why did he have to ask you where he's from? That was funny. Were you surprised he asked you?
No, he's just, you know, shy.
Shy.
Yes.
Okay. You want him to get over that?
That's a good point there, yes.
You do? Okay, we're going to help him get over that. All right. Did you raise your hand for common sense?
Me?
Uh-huh.
No.
So you don't have it?
Oh, no. I've got it, but I
sure?
always think you're asking a trick question. I do have common sense and I use it.
This is not, we're fellowshipping.
Okay.
This is an important question. We are fellowship. It's never a trick question. It's a question to get people to thinking. I want you to think for yourself so you know for yourself. Not just because the preacher or anyone else said it. So you know for yourself. These are the things I think about. All right. So it's not, it just feels like a trick question, but it's not. So you don't have common sense?
No, I do have common sense. And actually, since I've been coming here, you know, it's, you know, you with some of the simple lessons that you teach, you really intensify things. So at times I haven't always exercised it, but I do have it.
And why haven't you always exercised common sense?
One case in point, you were teaching about, the lesson went somehow that people follow the women, they don't follow the men. And I guess it could have been a, you know, result of my reading all those romance novels when I was a little teenager. So I used to have so much faith in men. I'd believe everything they say and, you know, all this stuff. But after you did that lesson, I looked back and I said, wait a minute, you're right. You know, the elephants follow the lead female elephant and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I said don't always follow, because I think I have given men a lot more. Well, like I have de-emphasized, you know, my judgment while I would project judgment and things and give them power.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in that way, you know, maybe I didn't use common sense all the time.
And how about now in life? Do you use it all the time?
Oh, you are getting me so sharp. Yes.
Good.
Definitely. I mean,
Okay.
since I walked through those doors, I've been enhanced, and I thank you.
Right on. God's way is so simple that I'm trying to bring people back to it, because his ways are easy and they are very, very, very simple. Very simple. The green shirt, did you raise your hand for common sense?
Yes, I did.
You have common sense?
I have common sense, but because I have faith in my Father, I know that his ways will override some things that I may believe to be absolutely true at a time. So I do have common sense, but I allow God to do what he wants to do and not just lean on what I think should be correct.
Meaning that sometimes your common sense is wrong?
No, it's just that when a man knows something to be certain, whether it be like physics or the weather, God could always override that. So yes, I do have common sense, but I don't lean on it. If something happens that I can't explain and I know it's the hand of God, I let it go.
So you do have common sense, but you don't lean on common sense?
No, I'll apply it, but it's not what
What?
I'll apply it.
You apply it?
But I'm not going to swear by it. Anything in life could change at the whim of God.
And do you always, so you don't always use it then because you rely on God sometimes, and then sometimes you rely on common sense?
No, I rely on God, but since he always tells the truth, if common sense falls in line with that, it makes sense. But if something that is common sense doesn't align with God, then I give the road to God.
Isn't this such a good question? Look how we are having a conversation about common sense. And I bet everybody thought they had common sense before I asked the question, right? Yeah. You didn't, You didn't think you had it? At least one honest one. Right here, Joel, you don't have common sense?
I think I have. I think I'm slower to certain things that people are naturally can pick up on with certain things.
So does that mean you don't have common sense?
I think I have very little common sense. So I don't want to say that I have common sense, and sometimes some things that would make sense, like how could you not know that? I'm like slow to it.
Are you retarded?
Maybe a little.
A little? Amazing. This is so nice. Had you thought about whether you had common sense before today? Before I asked the question?
A little bit. It crossed my mind, but then I realized most of the time I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you don't have it. I remember one day I asked him, who raised you? Look like you were raised by yourself. Isn't that amazing? But you catch on really easily. You notice that?
Yeah.
So were you raised like in the woods or something? With Tarzan?
I didn't have many rules, that's why.
You had no rules?
I didn't have many rules.
That's amazing. All right. So I could do you have common sense? Oh, you would like to think so?
Yes, sir.
So you're not sure?
Well, I mean, 99% of the time, yeah, I think.
99%? And why not 100?
Because sometimes I do stupid stuff.
Sometimes you do stupid
Make
stuff.
stupid decisions.
And so why do you abandon common sense sometimes?
I think just weakness, laziness. It's an
Okay.
easy thing to do, so I'll just do this. And then, oops.
Had you thought about before today if you had common sense or not?
Sure, I have.
You had? And you told yourself, yes, I have it?
For the most part, yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
compared to like how I've seen other people my age have lived, and it's like, oh man, I'm glad I didn't make those same mistakes.
Okay.
Because I wasn't raised that way.
Right.
I wasn't taught certain things. I was taught certain things, and it comes from not getting things so easily in life. I think that's how you learn common sense.
Amazing. Do anybody over here have common sense? Nobody in this corner? Oh, you have it? You have common sense?
Only because I think it comes from God's truth. Like
Oh,
if you know God, I think it's that background of knowledge that informs you to know immediately, have a good judgment on things because you're really judging from God's view of life.
Oh, okay. Is that a yes or no you have it?
Yes.
I didn't get the answer yet.
Yeah.
You do have common sense?
Uh-huh.
And do you use it?
Yeah.
You use it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I think, Frankie, you said you have common sense, right?
I do.
All right. And do you
I do.
use it?
Yes.
All right. Mark, you don't have common sense? I want to put it on the mic. You don't have common sense?
No, sir.
And why not?
Because I believe I'm either of the truth or either of the lie. There's no common sense is like critical thinking. It's just a fancy word.
Okay. So you don't have common sense?
Correct.
All right. And you two ladies don't have it either? No. Let's get the ladies on the mic. Take the mic. You don't have common sense?
I don't know.
You don't know if you have it or not?
I'm waiting for your answer.
You wait for my answer?
Yep.
No, these are things you need to know for yourself. All right. So you don't know if you have common sense or not?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I have to wait.
Okay. You have to wait
You have to wait.
to see what I say?
Yep.
Oh, boy. How about you?
It sounds so common.
It sounds so common?
Common, yeah, like
What sound common?
the sense that you're talking about.
The common sense?
Yeah,
Oh.
so
She said common sense sounds so common.
I don't want to have it.
You don't want to have it?
No.
You don't want common sense?
No,
So right now you don't have it and you don't want it?
that's right.
Amazing. I never thought I'd hear this in the world. James, you have someone?
I do have a few questions, but they're a little off topic.
Oh, okay. So does anybody on this side have common sense? Oh, 3 people, and the rest don't. James, you have it? You have common sense?
I mean, every now and then I do. Yeah, I
Oh,
do.
it's when I'm not around?
Right.
Okay, I'm surprised. James is my radio producer.
It's like
And I'm surprised he had common sense.
it's kind of like, I hate to bring politics into it, but like I think of like conservatives as having more common sense than liberals, but like all people lack common sense at times, but sometimes they do have it, or at least when they're assessing things that don't really relate to their own life.
Oh, and so you have it.
About other people, but not about myself.
All right, I'll come back to you. I just want to get you on record. Esteban, you have common sense?
Yes, I do. But I don't think I always act on it.
You have it, but you don't act on it?
Not all the time, no.
Why not?
Could be laziness or fear sometimes. But I feel like it's always there, but I don't always act on it.
Oh, interesting. And did I ask you about it already?
No.
This is your first time here.
Yes.
You have common sense?
I believe I do.
And why do you believe that?
Well, it's very common, like you don't leave your door open or unlocked. You see little things and, you already know that it shouldn't be done a certain way.
Oh, amazing. So if you had common sense, would you have 1776 on your cap?
Yes.
Okay, good. How about you? You say you have it? I like
Yes.
your cap, by the way.
Thank you.
I don't wear caps. You know why?
Why?
My head's too big. My dad had a big head, so I got it. Not big enough for me. You say you have it?
Yes.
Do you use it?
Yes.
And you do use it. Okay, I'll come back to you in a minute. And last but not least, you say you do have it?
Yes,
You have common sense?
I do.
Do you use it?
all the time.
And how about the people that don't have it? Who else don't have it? Oh, over here they don't have it. You don't have it. And right there, the last guy in the back. You say you don't have it?
Correct.
And why not?
Why don't I have? I wish I knew why I didn't have it.
Oh, okay. So let me do this real fast. What is common sense that you have? What is it?
Kind of to what the gentleman with the 1776 hats. I look both ways before I cross the street. I know not to show up late.
Even though
If I
you
can
were
help
late
it.
today.
But I know better.
But you don't. But you don't use your common sense.
No, I do use it
Well, why were you late then?
to the powers out of my control.
Blame it on the woman. All right. Where do you get your common sense from?
Making mistakes
Make a mistake? Okay. So let me rush back around here.
or watching other people make their mistakes too.
From learning from others?
Yes.
Okay. Where do you get your common sense from?
I'd say I get it from stillness.
Who is that?
Well,
No,
so
I'm kidding.
throughout the day, like maybe there's temptations to get emotional, and I find that the more in that direction I go, the farther away I get from my common sense.
Yeah.
So, and I know that I also have lived long enough to know that it's not self-generated. Like I don't generate my common sense. It's when I get my mind and my feelings out of the picture that I'm best able to see. So to me, common sense is just reality. It's like what's actually happening, and you can only see it when you slow down.
Okay. And where do you get yours from? I'm trying to help people around the world. Where do you get common sense from?
I think it just comes with your nature.
Comes with nature? Have you always had it?
Probably at times I didn't notice that I had it. I was probably laying dormant until I seen a situation,
Okay.
and then it just uprooted.
All right. James, where do you get yours from? Where you do have it?
I don't know. I think that we are given like basic good sense from God, but then like we stray away from it a lot.
Okay. And you say you do have it too, right?
Yes.
Where do you get yours from?
I think it's just something that you're born with. I
You're born
something
with
that-
it?
uh-huh.
And so do you lose it at some point, the reason at time you don't use it?
No, so like when I said what I said earlier, like it was more like specific instances. And the time that I don't use it is almost always been in a relationship, and I want the other person to do better, so like I give them more chances than I really should, that type of thing.
Oh, okay.
And as a result of that, like I may, get burned on the wrist or something like that for not having, come down to begin with, so that I was speaking on something like that. So it's very specific. So you can pretty much say 99.9% of the
I can't
time
hear
I
you.
use it. I'd say 99.9% of the time I use it.
99.9.
Yeah, and it's just those.
You want to sit next to him?
No.
He's a 99.9 person too.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, and then too, maybe it's not a bad thing that I give people chances.
Oh.
So, but I'm just thinking, like, in retrospect, it's like, duh, why did I do that? That type of thing.
Okay.
So,
And how about you? Where did you get yours from? Where do you get your common sense from?
Well, I kind of agree with her. I agree with her. It's just nature that people born with it have a common sense. But a lot of times when feeling involved and things like that, that's cloud your judgment and you don't use your common sense.
Oh, okay.
But I agree.
Very interesting. How did you hear about us?
My husband.
Oh, cool. And you found us on YouTube, husband?
Yes.
Right on. Okay. You say you have it or don't have it? And where do you get yours from?
Well, I think common sense is people's attempt to try to describe wisdom, and wisdom comes from knowing the Lord. It begins in the Lord. So I would say that once you become born again, you have the Holy Spirit in your life, you have wisdom, but however, every man is born with the basic tenets of God written on their heart. So I, like James said, there's a basic common sense, like, you don't kill people, you don't steal, and people sear their conscience and they choose to disobey that. But once you start walking with God, you get more wisdom, and I think that's what people mean by common sense.
Oh, okay.
So, like I said, I bring it back to God. I try not to,
All right.
by here.
Are you surprised that this is a very interesting discussion right now about common sense?
No, it's fantastic. I think people will learn that way because some people may understand things in a way that isn't totally correct. So when you correct them or other people learn.
Yeah, that's what fellowship is
Right.
about. Yeah. How about you? Where do you get yours from?
I was going to say exactly what he had just said. Wisdom comes from the fear of God, in search of God, so it comes from above. The more you seek God and His direction, His guidance, the more wisdom you gain. Then the more wisdom you gain, the more wise decisions and common sense you ultimately make in life.
Okay.
I believe that's where it comes from.
All right. Did I see your hand? You had your hand just now?
No.
Oh, you did not. And did you say you have common sense?
Yeah, I said early on that it was from God.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. All right. And Frankie, where do you get yours from?
From God.
I'm sorry?
God.
God. And how does he give it to you?
He just gives it to me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I pray for it.
Ain't
He
that an
gives it
easy
to
way
me.
out? He just give it to me.
I used to be a dummy, so.
You said,
telling
God,
you-
give me some common sense?
Yes.
And he said, okay, here it is.
Here's just a little bit, not too much.
All right. This is so nice. Yes, James.
Well, you know how like a lot of people talk about education. I think that like common sense and the best education is from a proper raising. Like I could point to me and I could point to Joel and dumb stuff that we do that we didn't know was dumb.
Right. You got raised
It's
in the same
partly
place.
from like lack of proper raising.
Yeah, that's right. Jeremiah, you have common sense?
Yeah, I think so.
You're not sure?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah,
You don't seem like you're sure.
I do.
So if you had common sense, would you have combed your hair better?
I knew you were going to say that. So I didn't say anything.
Oh, but okay, so you do have it. And where do
Yes.
you get it from?
My parents, I think.
Your parents have common sense?
Yeah.
You really believe that?
Well, I think that
Now
their
he's
common
doubting if his parents has it or not.
No, that their common sense was passed down from their parents, and then they passed it down to me, like how not to do stuff, or like, you know, you gotta lock the door so no one comes in, or whatever. And that's just common sense that
Oh,
they
okay.
passed down.
Irma, do you have common sense?
I gotta follow that.
That's your daddy.
Sometimes,
Sometimes.
yes.
And why sometimes you don't have it?
Because if I'm in a state of anger or whatever, I don't have common sense. But when I'm not in that state, then I have common sense.
And what is common sense?
Common sense is just being free of anger. When you're free of anger, you have common sense.
And where do you get common sense from?
No, it's just there. It's already there.
It's already there. Had you thought about this before today, if you had common sense?
Not really, no.
Not really, okay. All right. Yes, James.
Robert Allen says, my experience has been that everybody knows the difference between right and wrong, even if they say they don't.
So does that mean he has common sense?
I think so.
Do you have common sense, Robert Allen, you say?
He said it's part of the operating system. We're born with it.
Oh, okay.
And then G says, I got mine from watching my grandpa set a good example for me.
Oh, okay. The reason I ask this is such a good question is because I've noticed that common sense is lacking in the world today, for the most part. And so I was wondering why, right? And you know, I started watching the news more and watch what's going on. I even asked everybody to watch what's happening with the president, the way that the people are treating him, and how he deal with life and how he's reacting to it, to like have a little space there and pay attention so you can see what's really going on. And don't be caught up with him, because if you caught up with him, you won't really see what's going on. And so what I've noticed is that for the last however many years, we have been lied to by the media. Mainstream media has been lying to us. Our government has been lying to us. And they've been playing games with us. And I didn't know how bad it was until now. And so what I see happening now, I see how they've been controlling us. What they do is like they have tried to control the president. And everything that they try doesn't work. They go insane and he goes sane. And they don't know what to do with it, right? And what they're trying to do is get the president's supporters to doubt him. To doubt him. And if they can get the supporters to doubt the president, then they can destroy the president. And the way they try to get the president's supporters to doubt him is they'll try to get you emotionally involved. They're trying to make you angry. And so what I notice is that every time he does something and they don't like it, they like really go after it. You know, like, for example, this woman, he said, and her husband were trying to visit with him or something. Well, they were talking about him on MSNBC. What was their names? Micah, and it's a woman's name. Right. And so he said something like Joe and Michael were trying to, now they are talking about me, but there was a time when they wanted to be friends with me. I'm paraphrasing. And I saw them at a cafe one day, and they wanted to sit with me, and I would let them do it. And Joe is weak or dumb or something, and Micah has blood coming from her face because she had a facelift. Right? Anybody hear about this? Yeah. And so the media took that, oh my God, he's talking about a woman. I can't believe he would say that about a woman. I mean, they're like having a hissy fit. Never mind what he said about the man, and they're using this thing, he said it about a woman, because in this country, you're not allowed to tell the truth about women. If you do, you're a man hater, you're a dog catcher, and all that kind of stuff, right? And so they're trying to get women upset. They're trying to get the women who support the president, they want to present him as a woman hater, because they know if they can twist the mind of supporters, they can destroy President Trump. And so, but it's not working. And so by it's not working, they're getting worse and worse and worse. Never mind that since the president been in office, you've seen people acting out in a play as though they're going to kill him. That play at the park. You've seen some crazy woman with a decapitated head of the president. No problem, no outcry about that from them at all. You've seen, they've called him all kind of names and just everything. And what I realize is that because a lot of people are falling for it, his supporters are not, but a lot of other folks, when you talk to them about the situation, they have no common sense about it. They don't see what's really going on because they're angry and they have overreacted and they're very emotional. And whenever someone can get you emotional, they can turn you away from common sense. They really can. They'll make you believe that wrong is right and right is wrong. And you'll be thinking, wow, I can't believe I believe this. But it's true. You'll be thinking that because somebody have made you doubt it yourself. And we all live by faith. We live by faith. And that's why I say you have to be careful what you believe in, because whatever you believe in controls you. It has control over you when you believe in it. We can't help but live by faith. Whether it's in men believe in women, women believe in men, children believe in their parents, or you believe in dope, or you believe in sex, or you believe in alcohol, you believe in lies, you believe in a human being. Whatever you believe in will control you. And that's why God said, only have faith in God. Nothing else, because we live by faith. We walk by faith and not by sight. In the fallen state, you think you're walking by sight, but you're really walking by faith. As a matter of fact, that's why Jesus came and he brought common sense. Through him, he brought common sense. And if you had common sense, you could be healed, you could become wealthy, you can become smart. Everything you need is in something as simple as common sense. But because it's a spiritual battle, a warfare between good and evil, we don't realize how we're being manipulated by evil to fall away from common sense. We have common sense, and we got to return to that. And I noticed that in the media, and I want you to pay attention to this. You can see it for yourself. All they ever do is work on our emotions now. They're trying to make us doubt. That's all. And before President Trump, they didn't have to worry about making us doubt, because we were already in a fallen state of doubt. We had believed in the president before President Trump, and they just told us whatever they wanted us to hear, and there was no president or anyone else to challenge that. So he didn't expose them. No other president has exposed evil in the way that this president has done. And I really want you to pay attention, because the same thing is happening in your personal lives too. You're being controlled by somebody or something, and the reason you're being controlled by them because you believed in them, and that's why they control you. And then if they try to get away from you, you want to kill them before letting them go, because your whole heart and soul is invested in them and not in God. We talked about the Bible. You're not supposed to believe in the Bible. You're supposed to believe in God. Because even if you believe in the Bible, you're now controlled by the Bible, and the Bible can't lead your life every moment, every day, every second. You need the Spirit of God in you to lead you every moment in life. and not anything else of the world. But you got to check yourself. Common sense is, common sense is what we live by. It's a light unto our feet. But we've gotten away from it because you don't hear a lot of talk about it. The preachers don't mention it. The politicians surely don't mention it because they want control over you. And that's what the media is doing right now. And they want to, it's so interesting. They keep shouting at you and shouting at you until you get away from the wordless word and start listening to the outer voices. Listen to those voices, and then you believe in those voices. Now you're subject to the voices in your head. And you believe in those voices. And you forget about the quiet, still, voiceless voice. And Kelly is correct. The way you get with that, you have to learn to be still and know God. And common sense will just be basic to you. It's not common sense when a man says he feels like a woman says she feels like a man, and we say, okay, let's put all the bathrooms together. That's not common sense. But a whole lot of folks believe that it is. I mean, it's just not even rational. Not at all, but a lot of people believe that it is. It's not common sense to be into a person so much that they control you. You're going to die if they leave. You're jealous and you're envious and you're worried. You think somebody else is with them. That alone should tell you you have believed in that person. And that person is your God and not the true God. Because whatever you believe in will control you. Whether it's your money, your house, whatever. You might not get a job. I know some people who apply for a job and they don't get it and they really want it, they go nuts. Because they believe in those positions rather than in God. Not knowing that God would take care of us. He loves us, but he wants us to believe in him and nothing else. So be careful what you're believing in. If it controls you, let it go. It's not worth it. Your soul is more important. We have the written word in our heart. And if we don't follow that common sense word that's in our heart, we're going to lose out. And that's what's happening in a big way in the world today. It's so apparent that you have to be crazy to miss it. That's why they're carrying on. They're trying to get us emotional in order to control us. The worst thing that can happen to evil is that you calm down and see what's going on and use common sense against it. It's the worst thing. You will destroy evil. You had a question? Mm-hmm.
I've seen just in the news in general with weather, anything, the way that they word everything, that today it's going to be the worst storm watch. They've been doing this to us.
That's
and
right.
then the medication commercials, that your knee hurts, you're ugly. Then you get a car commercial where now you need the car.
Yes.
It's been a warfare from day one, and now it's coming to the surface.
And that's why they use those words. Because we, human beings in a fallen state, are subject to words. The word in your head, don't do this and don't do that. This is right, this is wrong, this is up, this is down. You follow that, and then you listen to the word outside. And if it sounds good to the ego, you follow that. You're not listening to the voiceless voice, the knowing, the common sense, the mind of God that's in us. You got to return to that, folks. And I'm telling you, there's nothing like living a common sense life. You know that all is well, and you see the world going nuts. All around you see craziness, and you know why it's happening. But it's time to get off and return to the wordless word, the quiet, still voice in our heart. Not up here and not out there. They will destroy you. My grandmother used to say, you can always tell when somebody's lying, and they go on and on and on. They only let you get in because they don't want to calm down so you can see that they're lying to you. I remember when I used to date a lot, and I used to lie to the women. Come on, baby, baby, baby. You're so beautiful. You're so this. She's like, no, you don't really mean that. Yes, I do. Just lying because I had a hidden agenda. No, you don't love me. Yes, I do. I love you, baby. And then once you get what you want, now leave me alone, I'm done. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, we have it inside of us, but we got to go within and operate from there. And the words that we hear from the outside in our head, that has to die. That's the intellect. The intellect, that's knowledge, and it's your enemy and not your friend. And I think that's one of the reasons that the world is encouraging everybody to go to college. You got to go to a college instead of a trade school. Because people in trade, they seem to be even keyed, like they're running their own businesses, they're doing their thing. But once you go off to a university, you come back with a head full of knowledge. It's like they tear you down and they rebuild you in their image. And you're no longer in the image of God, but in the image of Satan and his children. Have you noticed that? You send your kids off, they're like Christians. They're all nice and common sense. And they come back home, you're like, who are you? They hate you. They hate the parents. They hate everything the parents have to say. They don't want to follow instructions anymore because they have been recreated with the outer word instead of the word in the heart. Isn't that amazing? It's truly a spiritual battle. And that's what's happening right now. And I want you to pay attention to this. This is so much fun. Apparently the president, a new video is out today, I guess, where the president knocked someone down at CNN. Well, he didn't really knock him down. But apparently he used to be involved in that wrestle stuff. What's it called? WWE. WWE wrestling. And so he tweeted out a picture with CNN on it, with him attacking this man, but it looked like CNN. And now they're having a fit about that. Oh, the president is promoting violence. Now we're supposed to get angry and emotional. I can't believe the president is supporting violence. But it's not going to work because the people are starting to see what's going on. God is good. And they're seeing what's going on. Some people are. I was talking to a cousin of mine yesterday on the phone. He's a Democrat. And he was like, I can't believe you support President Trump. What happened to you? Because I used to be a Democrat. What happened to you? And I said, so what's wrong with him? Everything is wrong with him. I said, you just hate the president. I don't hate him. I just can't stand him. I said, well, that's hate. So I said, so what? Tell me, what is it about the man you don't like? He doesn't like blacks. And he's not presidential. You ever heard that? I'm like, what does that mean? Well, he just says and do whatever he wants. I'm like, don't you love that? No. I want him to be like Obama. This is what he said to me. I said, so you want the president to be a sissy, huh? Be like a girl. And he went off on me. I can't believe you saying that. And then he said, the president doesn't, he said, the president's wife doesn't respect him. And I said, well, duh, show me one wife that does respect her husband. That's not new. And he was like, Michelle respect Obama. I'm like, no sorry. Michelle does not respect Obama. Obama is a girly, weak man. And he just had a fit. He started screaming. I mean, literally screaming at me. And we grew up together. I'm like, why are you screaming at me? And I said, the reason you hate the president, because you hate masculinity. You hate men. You hate the truth. And that's why you hate this man. You have not seen a real man in so long. You hate it when you see it. And they want the president to stop tweeting. And the reason they want him to stop tweeting, because they don't want any truth to get out to us. They just want lies out there so it can confuse us and cause us to doubt what we know is right, become emotional, and go with them. That's what it's all about. So please watch this, but you got to get to know yourself in order to know what's going on in the world around you. You must be born again. You got to let the ego go. So I saw your hand, right? And then we go to James.
I was just going to say, because I learned a trade and my brother went to college, And when you're learning a trade, you get men that will yell at you and put you down
Yes.
and put you in your place and realize that life isn't easy.
That's
and then
right.
when you go to college, you're educated, then you think you know something, then you can't see that you can't even take care of a car at that point because you don't have enough common sense because you're too smart. So you stop checking your tire pressure.
That's right, man.
And you see these men who can't
Yeah.
even take care of their own car, but they're educated.
I
And
know,
It's
it's
mind blowing.
so-
They don't even clean it.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. It's evil. The knowledge of good and evil. The intellect is crazy. It is not your friend. There's a greater intellect that's within us. It is the mind of God. Really, it's His mind, and we are His children. If we are born again of Him, if we have returned to the Father, we are His children, and He want to guide us, and it's greater than anything you're going to find in the world. It really, really is. And most of the time, you have to stand alone when you have common sense. You have to stand alone because your family members, some of the family members, some of your friends, all going to turn on you because they don't understand what you're talking about. They have given in to a wrong spirit. And they don't understand common sense. It feels like a put down. It doesn't feel like love to them because they hate the truth. But I'm telling you, we got to return to common sense. Sometimes I'm talking to people on my radio show and I'm asking them simple questions and they can't answer the question. And I'm like, why can't you answer this question? It's so common sense to me. And at one time I had lost common sense too because I turned away from God in my anger. And everybody, I don't care who you are, what race you are, if you have anger, you have no common sense. Because anger is the nature of Satan. You must be born again. You got to overcome that so you can return to your Father and live by His light and not the darkness of your imagination. You got to let anger go. Otherwise, you don't have it. Yes, James.
Question from Sarah P. How do I know if I am judging someone? I hear you, Jesse, say some people are crazy or evil, like the Democrats. Isn't that a judgment? What is the difference?
Judgment is when you see injustice and you hate what you see. You have a feeling from it or you have an opinion about it. Discernment is when you see injustice but don't hate injustice. Then you can overcome it. You got to learn to see it and not hate it. Speak up but don't hate. And that way it can't overtake you and control you. Just don't hate it. But if you have anger in your heart, you can't help but hate it. That's why God said, go and forgive so that I can forgive you and make you free and put a protective bubble around you so when you deal with injustice in the world, you're not affected by it. You must forgive. You cannot have one iota of anger. Zero. Because it's not the nature of God and it's not your true identity. If you notice, children have common sense until they are traumatized by their parents. Children tell the truth. They don't hold grudges. They see things clearly. They move through life. They know when to get up and start walking. They know when to crawl. They know when to talk. They know when to ask questions. They have common sense until that parent or parents destroy it by making them doubt themselves and become emotional. Then the kids lose it and you recreate the kids in your image. That's how they lose it. Because they're traumatized by their parents. And if you go and forgive your parents, and it's, I'm sorry for being angry at you for what you did, I realize you couldn't help yourself, then God will forgive you, and He'll bring you back into His nature, His identity, and common sense is back. It's just that simple. It's not hard to get. You just have to repent. Yes, James.
A little bit off topic.
Anybody doubt me about this or want to add to it or take away from it? Okay, let me take here first as I ever heard, and then I come to you. And then I come back to you, James.
When I first came here, I was really looking for the answers, and I thought, when you told me to forgive, I went and I did that. And I haven't really ever had a forgiveness problem. I haven't had an anger issue. But I noticed I was putting you up there, so when you told me that was my problem, I went with that. this week I was sort of shown that that was where I had my break with God, was when I was putting other people's opinions, and I was
Yes.
making everybody else God. And then you go into a room, you can't please everybody.
That's right.
So that it wasn't, for me, it wasn't forgiveness and anger. It was being really aware of other people's opinions, and that's where I lost common sense, because I had to check with everybody else first.
That's right. That's such a good point. When we fellowship together, or you hear a man or a woman who is speaking the truth, don't get into the person. Fellowship, hear what they say, let it go in one ear and out the other, but don't hook on to them. Don't hook your wagon up to them. All right? Because if you do, you lose that sense of yourself. And now that person is your God. And then as soon as they make one mistake or say something you don't like, it's over. You go on to another church or another voodoo doctor and hook up to them. God is in us. And whomever you're listening to should be pointing you back to the God inside of you, not the God inside of them. They want to point you back to Him so that He can guide you and not the person. But a lot of preachers and a lot of politicians and a lot of experts and a lot of speakers who make money and counselors, they don't want to do that. They keep you coming because you make money, they get ego benefit from it. They use you until you, even doctors, you can walk into a doctor's office and have a headache or stomach ache, and you walk out with a bag full of pills. And you trust the doctor, so you take the pills. You have to always have a space there, invisible space, without judging, and you'll see what to do. But you're absolutely right about that. They go from preacher to preacher, hooking their wagon up to that preacher. And then the preacher eventually going to say something you don't like, and then they're gone. That is such a good point. Are you better now? Yeah. You are better? Oh, good. Let her have the mic, just to hear the uh-huh. Uh-huh.
This week, a few weeks ago, I left church asking God, please show me the difference between who I am and who I think I am. And the last 5 weeks, it's just been showing me different things. At first, I really overreacted to a lot of things, and then I stopped overreacting, and I thought,
yes.
What is this nature that's on me? It's not me. My original nature, I was very confident. I was like a certain person up to a certain point, and then I realized I started to look at other people and what they thought about me, and that's where my break was with God. So I had to really find that inside and quit. Even after I came to this week, I asked somebody's opinion about it, and it caused a little bit of doubt. And I said, you know what? I have to get rid of that if I'm going to go in and find God within me.
That's right. Absolutely. Good. Stay with that. Stay still. You reminded me of something that was on my mind, and it went away. All right, I forgot. It went away. Come back. It went away and won't come back. Yes, James.
This is a little.
Then I come to you, Frankie. Sorry about that.
Henry Colton Jr. asks, should we believe in God or should we believe in Jesus?
You believe in the Son, and by believing in the Son, it leads you to believing in the Father. Because the Father and the Son are one, and the Son represents the Father. So you believe His words, because as He said, you're not believing the person, you believe the truth that's in the person. And that truth is God in Him. So when you believe the truth, it takes you back to the Father. So, yes, I guess. That makes sense? Yes. That makes sense? Yeah. You believe, because Jesus said, my Father and I are one. My Father sent me. So when you believe me, you believe the Father. All right? Because He was sent by the Father. But even when the people are trying to praise Jesus, oh, Jesus, you are God. You're the man. He heals somebody, they carry on. Yes. He's like, calm down. You can do this too because of the Father that's in you. And greater works shall you do. But what they did, they made Jesus into a God. And so they stopped with Jesus and never went back to the Father. And so they don't know the truth because they've not been born of the Father. You have to return to your original state of being. And your original state is the nature of the Father in you. The nature of the Father. But everybody hates the Father. They hate the Father. And the reason they hate the Father because they've been turned away from Him. You know, a lot of time by their mothers, they turn their sons and daughters away from the Father. And so you grow up never knowing the Father. But you must return to the Father by believing in Jesus. Yes.
Okay, so the example.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so I just wanted to point something out. The example that, and you covered it a week or two ago, there's a passage or narrative in the Bible called the fig tree incident, and
It's
in
called
that
what? Fig tree? Oh, okay.
the fig tree incident,
Yeah.
and in that narrative, Jesus is talking to his disciples when the tree was dried up, and then he said to them to have faith in God.
Right.
Okay, so
Nothing but God. Not the fig tree, because the fig tree is cut off from the Father. When you cut off from the Father, everything dies. And so what happened to human beings when they're cut off from the Father, when they're cut off from their earthly fathers, they die. Men and women die. Because the earthly father, whether he a poor example or not, represent Christ on earth. And when you're cut off from Christ, you die. That's why you make so many silly and crazy mistakes. You're killing yourself. You're not living, you're dying. That's why you have to return to the tree, meaning return to your earthly father, so through him you can return to God. When you love your earthly father, then you're going to love God. When you hate your earthly father, you're going to hate God. Now, you can read the Bible, you can go to church, you can pretend, but it ain't working. It's not working. You got to forgive your earthly father and return to him to go back to God and live as his son or daughter. Yes, Frankie, real fast.
I remember as a small child, I had common sense, and the adults, a lot of adults didn't like it. It reminds me of my next door neighbor. He had a 5-year-old boy, and he got into a little pushing fight with some kids out there.
Make it real short because of my time. 2 minutes.
Well, this little boy called this girl fat butt, and the mother went crazy of this child and threatened to call social services. And you know they don't like little
Ain't that something?
little kids telling
The kids
truth.
call each other names. Amazing. It's crazy. But that's because she's not connected to her father, and she can't help it. That's why when you return to the Father, you operate from insight, you operate from love. The Holy Spirit teaching you all things. It allows you to see so that when someone does do crazy things, you don't hold it against them. You know what's driving them. You have compassion for them. You tell the truth, but you don't judge them. You don't hate them for it. And that's what's protecting you from the world. We got to overcome words. Anyone who is affected by words are not sons and daughters of God. Words out here are not supposed to affect us. That's why the media and others, they keep using all these crazy words. You hate women. You hate blacks. You hate the homosexuals. You hate this. You hate that. When they're doing worse things, the children of God accuse us of doing what they are doing. And we're not even doing it. But they accuse us of it in order to get us to doubt ourselves and believe into what they believe in. All right? So you want to return to common sense. All right? This is your first time here, right? Any disagreement or anything about what I said? So
No, I totally agree with you.
Is it clear?
It is a lot clear, yes.
Oh, good, man. Any questions?
Not at the moment, but if I have any, I wouldn't be shy to ask.
Well, I'm glad you came, man. How about right here? Tell me your name, your first name, and
Yes, Chuck.
Chuck. So you found us on the YouTube?
Yes.
Right on. Do you disagree with anything I've said so far?
No.
No disagreement. Does it make sense?
Yep.
Oh, good. I want it to make sense. Any questions or comments?
None.
Do you have anger, Chuck?
I try not to as best I can.
So, do you have anger, Chuck?
Yes, a little bit.
Do you have anger, Chuck?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What was wrong with just saying yes?
It's true, yeah.
And why not let it go, the anger?
Well, I definitely should.
And why don't you let it go?
Well, I'm learning.
Learning what?
To let it go, to just learn how to not have anger.
By doing what?
Understand the reason for the anger and
what's your reason for anger?
well, I don't know if I could answer. I have to think about it.
So you've
But
been watching me on
learning.
YouTube. I talk about it all the time. You need to go and forgive who? Who?
Your father and your
And-
parents, yeah.
And your mother.
Yep.
Your mother first. Do you realize that? Your mother did this to you. Do you know that?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
I believe so, yes.
I want you to know for sure, because I could be wrong, but your anger came from your mother, not your father.
Okay.
No, don't say okay. Is that true or not?
I think it's true.
Yeah. And so, why do you think it's true?
Well, I'd have to think about it. It's hard to answer right here.
Oh, okay. All right. But you notice nobody liked your mother, right?
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Yeah, I've never met his mother. I just met you the first time, right?
Yeah.
Nobody liked her. And that's why it was so hard for you growing up. Because she has an angry spirit. She hated your father. She hated her mother. And she imposed it on you. And you hated her for what she was doing. And you become like her. You take on the identity of the person that you hate. It's not normal for you to have anger in your heart. But because she imposed on you the way she did, and your father didn't protect you, you became like her. That's her nature in you, and you have to forgive her so God can take it away, and then you can be you. That make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. And it's so easy. Now that you see it, just go to her because she couldn't help it. It happened to her too when she was growing up by her parents. So go to her and say, you know what, mother, you call her mother or mama?
She died.
Oh.
Long time ago.
Be quiet, mama. Mama, gotta jump in. Tell mama to be quiet. What would happen if you tell mama to be quiet?
She would be quiet.
Do you ever tell mama to be quiet?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, even though she's dead, just know, like, you can't help yourself, right? That spirit is there. And you don't want it to be there. You want to be different, right? But you can't help it, is that right?
Yes.
Right. And so you wouldn't want your kids to hate you for being weak, right?
Yes.
So your mother felt the same way. She could not help it. So if you can understand yourself, it will help you understand her, and that will cause you to forgive her. Mm-hmm. And then you can love her in the right way, love your family in the right way, and you become a good husband in the right way and a good father in the right way. Yep. Everything would change.
Yep.
But you got to let that anger go.
Yep.
That make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Will you do it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. And this is your first time. Tell me, any questions or comments?
No, I really enjoy it.
Oh, good. And did I say anything you disagreed with?
Nothing.
Oh, good. Do you have anger?
No.
Do you have anger?
Nope.
Do you have anger?
No.
And then the cock crowed. No, I'm saying, that's good. How did you overcome it?
Because that's not good to if you keep that in your heart.
It's not, that's right.
Exactly.
And how were you able to overcome it?
To forgive, to try to forgive the person, and or think about a good thing that they, because even though someone is not, it make you angry, it doesn't mean that they're a bad person.
No, they are bad, but just don't hate them for it. There are bad people. There are evil people in this world.
Oh, I agree.
And we see evil in the media right now like never before that I've ever seen in the history of America. It's never been exposed. But we're looking at evil. There are evil people in this world, just as there are good, but they're bad. But even if they are, we still can't hate them.
Yeah.
We still deal with them, but don't hate them.
I agree.
Yes.
Thank you.
And how about you, son? How old are you?
14.
You're 14. And so, did you have fun today?
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah. Did you learn anything from this today?
Yes, definitely.
Like what, for example?
Like, they have to give your let your anger go, and you have to forgive your parents to come back to that child state of not having to be so, disagreeing, I guess.
Yeah, that's deep, buddy. How old are you?
14.
14. If you hold on to that, you're going to be something else. just don't, I want you to speak up to your parents, but don't be mad at them. And don't let anything be so important to you that you're angry about it. If, let's say you want to go and play with your friends. My godson wanted to go and play with his friends yesterday, right? And so he called me up to help battle with his father. And I'm always telling him, if you began to be angry about it, let it go. It's not that important. All right, so if your parents say, no, you can't go play with Johnny, and you're like, no, I really want to go. And they're like, no, you can't go. And if you start feeling that anger, it's best to let it go. You don't need to have it.
Yeah.
And that way they can't control you, and Johnny can't control you, and the devil can't control you. Will you do that?
Yes.
Yeah, you explained it well, man. Yeah,
Thank you.
really did. And so just live your life, all right? Okay, good, man. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I just going back to now. Are you saying just people that have anger? You think it always stems from the mother, or?
No, it can come from the father too. But most of the time it's from the mother, because the mother has that connection with the children. And a lot of times she's impatient with them. She imposes her will upon them, or she's mad at the father. And she'll turn the kids away from the father too by saying how bad your father is, or little things that they do that's kind of cunning and sneaky, right? And they'll get the kids to identify with them instead of the father. And then when the kids start acting out, they'll say, it's your father. Your father did this to you. They won't say, I'm sorry, child, I was wrong. They'll blame it on the father. But it's not always the father, because there are men who act like that too, and they destroy their children. But most of the time it's from the mother. What do you think about that? You disagree?
I guess in my experience, if the father is not fulfilling his role as the head of the household and godly, then in my life I found that was the most destructive thing.
It is destructive in that if the father doesn't love what's right with all his heart, soul, and might, and he is the spiritual head of his wife and children, it allows evil to come in, because women hate weak men. It would be like the man going to Christ, and Christ is weak. There's nothing there. And so evil will overtake. So when fathers are weak and they're not guiding their wives and children with the love of God working through them, it does bring on that destruction as well.
Yeah. But I think there are godly women who, in other words, they almost become both parents.
Meaning what?
Well, the mother sometimes becomes the mother and the father, in that the father's not doing really anything but bringing home a paycheck, and the mother has to be the Godhead, the leader in the the spiritual leader, and also. And I think she can accomplish that and still say, you honor your father. A mother can never, a godly mother would never become the man of the home. What she would do is love what's right with all her heart, soul, and might. And where her husband is out of control, she caressed that with love. Because she can't become the man, she's not the man. And as a woman of God, she would know she can't be the man, so she would never try to become like that. Well, women who are becoming men and women are not connected to God. They may be connected to the Bible, they may go to church, and they may tell themselves that they are, but a real child of God, a woman who is a child of God, respect that order. She knows that her husband is over her, and she understands that he can't do any better than what he's doing, so she doesn't resent him for it. She does point it out, but don't resent him for it. The problem is the average woman end up resenting the man for his weakness, because they're not children of God. They hated their father, they hated their mother, and you become attracted to what you hate, right? So if you hate your father, you're going to end up, or you hate your mother, you're going to end up marrying a man just like that. That's the only thing your spirit is attracted to. It's attracted to what it hates. That's why God wants us to overcome it, so he can put the right person in our lives. Women who marry weak men are marrying them because they have hatred in their hearts, and they're only attracted to that. Even when they try to get away from it,
you know, they try to meet a man that's not like that and still end up being that kind of man. And the same with men. When they hate their mothers, they end up marrying mama. Even if they go over to China and get a Chinese, or Japan and get a Japanese, they still marry mama. You got to overcome the spirit so you can be hooked up with the right mate.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't know. It's that simple. But anyway.
You say, no, you're doing fine. You say you don't know it's that simple?
Yeah, it's just that when I say the mother sometimes becomes the man, I just mean sometimes they have to take on more of the role of that parent that is not, say the husband is not functioning in any way, but because the woman loves her husband as a child of God, she allows him. She doesn't want to discard him, right? But she has to work around that. She has to keep him in the family and try to keep the family together, and she doesn't try to become the husband.
It's not her job to do that. If she, let's say that a man is fortunate enough to get a good wife like that, who loved God because she loved her father and mother growing up, she ended up with a weak guy, God forbid. But because she has God's love, she corrects him. She's like a living example in front of him so he can see himself. And she's not holding any weakness, any grudges against him for being weak. But she's an example so that he can see his way. She doesn't take the role of the man. She doesn't get in his way of growing. She stands as a light, contrary to what he is, so he can see himself. She couldn't help herself because God would be guiding her in that way. Women who try to take over the role or try to keep the family together are not of God, because they know that they would know that this person needs to be born again. They can't hold a family together. The man has to hold that family together. It's like the woman is the vice president to the husband, as the husband is the vice president to Christ, and Christ is the vice president to God. What?
I'm not sorry, I agree. No.
I'm sorry?
I'm not sure I agree with everything you're saying.
Well, think about it, and that's fine
I
if you don't.
understand what you're saying, and I I believe in God's order in the family.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure, that it works out that way exactly.
I absolutely guarantee you with all that is within me, a woman who is doing that has destroyed the children. The kids are messed up. Because that order is not working if she got to do all that. It's not through her, it's through the Father that order works. And a woman of God would know that. Yes, sir, last word. And we are so over time, right, James? Yeah, man.
Just going off that from my experience being raised by my mom without my dad in the house, she tried to make up for it and tried to be the man and the woman, and it definitely didn't work because the man has to be, she can't teach me how to be a man. And just from my experience, she tried and it didn't work. And the only way it can work is if the actual man is in the house, because she doesn't have that nature to give you as far as being what you need to be. And she tried, but she just gave me a bunch of emotions.
Yeah.
Now I'm emotional.
What human beings don't realize, the Spirit of God and His order you can't imitate that. You can't say, I'm doing that and it's going to work. It's not going to work. The only thing that will work is a return to the order. That's the only thing that's going to work. Yeah, that's the only thing. So if a woman,
It's not there.
that's right. If you don't have it, you don't have it. But a lot of women do say, well, I'm being the daddy and the mama. No, you're not.
And I don't mean it in that way. I'm just saying, when you're in a situation where, the order's not there, you do whatever you can to compensate for it. I mean, I'm not saying that you should become the man or whatever as the woman. I'm saying if that order's not there, then, sometimes a woman's put in a position where she has to try to compensate.
Compensate how?
Well, try to be a spiritual leader for her children. Or, if the husband refuses to do that, then, what are you going to do? Just let everything fall apart?
No, what you do, you live upright by not hating your husband for being weak.
Well, so you do.
Right. You forgive him, don't hold any grudges.
But what if that doesn't work?
If it's real, it will work.
Not necessarily.
It won't work if it's real. When you say don't work, what do you mean if it
Well, if
doesn't
that
work?
person just refuses to change.
Then that's fine. That's on him. But if you love your husband in spite of his weakness, then it's the God that's working through you that will help the family.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not, but sometimes their hearts are stone, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
You can be an example all you want. What I mean is the woman sometimes has to become the example for the children.
By doing what?
Just living out a godly life.
And what's a godly life?
Well, showing them God.
By doing what?
Oh, bringing them up in the church, in the truth.
No.
Loving the Father.
Yes.
I know, I get that. That too.
Because let's say that, and I understand what you're saying too. I totally understand it. But it doesn't work. She got to love her husband, have no anger toward him at all. And that's the example that the children will see.
Yeah.
She can go to church until she's black and blue in the face.
No, I know.
But if she resent that husband, it's not going to work.
I get it, believe me.
So what?
Can you tell?
So what now?
I understand it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I understand what you're saying about loving the Father and everything. And that's the perfect order.
Right.
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 And that's
only that going to work.
Mm-hmm. And I'm all for men having fathers.
And it's
boys
not
having
a
fathers.
competition between the men and women.
No.
It's not like one is better than the other.
No.
It's just a spiritual order that God created
Exactly.
for us to live by, common sense, and nothing else is going to work but that.
Exactly.
No extended families, no gay families, no living with a woman or man before marriage, no whatever they're doing out there nowadays. It's not going to work because it's not the order. Only the order will work.
Right.
But Satan and his little demons, his children of the light would tell you that, oh, you can do it. And they'll make it sound nice. Extended families or whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
They put nice little words,
No
affecting you with
judgment,
words.
no judging.
All those things to control you, to deceive you, to kill your soul.
Yeah.
Just fancy words. As Obama would say, just words, just speeches. All right, I'm so out of time, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sorry I went over. It was so good. I want you to hear it. Don't forget, we need your tithes and offerings. All right. What else? Check out the radio show. We're going to do a live show tomorrow, even though Tuesday is Thanksgiving. The office is closed, but we're doing a live radio show tomorrow morning. What did I say? Thanksgiving. Oh, Thanksgiving? I'm thinking about turkey. 4th of July, Independence Day. We're still doing a live show tomorrow, so tune in and call in. What else? Any other announcement, Ernest? What? Oh, I am scheduled to be on Fox News tomorrow, Tucker Carlson show at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So look for the emails or whatever they send out and tune in to it tomorrow. And there's a men's forum Thursday night. For men only, at 7 p.m. this Thursday night. And for ladies only, the third Thursday night of the month. For ladies only. They were good, right? Get me the lady. We had our first one. So good. So thank you for tuning in, folks. And happy what? 4th of July. Independence Day. That's right. Thank you so much. And thank you all for coming. I appreciate it.